My wife is up until 18 days ago, was a strong believer in what was going to happen the next 4 years. But we feel totally blindsided, betrayed.
Blindsided and betrayed. All hell is breaking loose in cities across the United States, and Trump supporters are not immune to the ICE raids. And we're hearing more and more stories about Trump supporters getting deported, getting separated from their families, getting the treatment that they claimed was never going to happen to them. I want to talk about all hell breaking loose in the United States, in cities across the United States. And I will show you some Trump supporters in this first clip, but then I'm going to pivot and just show you some of the other situations that we're seeing across the country as the Trump regime turns the streets of our country, of our cities, into a literal war zone. So here are Trump voters feeling blindsided and betrayed after, in this case, his wife was arrested by ICE at a green card interview. This guy says, "I voted for change, but I didn't vote for this." And last year, Canadian Cynthia Oliveira, 45, who had been in the U.S. since age 10, got a work permit under the Biden administration. But here's what the Trump regime did. Let's play this clip.
You voted for Trump. How do you feel now?
Horrible. Horrible.
What did you vote for?
I voted for change, but I didn't vote for this change.
Through tears, wearing an ICE-issued uniform, Cynthia Oliveira begs the Canadian government for help.
I really do need their help. I don't want to be in here.
The mother of 3 is currently being held by ICE at this detention center in El Paso, Texas. She says her nightmare started on June 13th when she went to her green card interview.
You thought you were going to be getting your green card, but instead they arrested you. Did they trick you?
Yes.
They said, look, she's getting deported immediately.
Cynthia's husband, Francisco, is a U.S. citizen. She says her parents brought her to the United States from Toronto when she was just a little girl.
The U.S. is my country. That's where I met my husband. That's where I went to high school, junior high, elementary. That's where I had my kids.
And like her husband, she too supported President Trump's promise to launch the largest deportation program of criminals in American history.
My wife is up until 18 days ago, was a strong believer in what was going to happen the next 4 years. But we feel totally blindsided, betrayed.
Now, we'll talk about what's going on with the Venezuelans in Miami and in South Florida. And, a lot of Venezuelans for Trump out there. Donald Trump made a lot of promises to the Venezuelan community. As I'm sure you know, former President Biden protected Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, all groups with temporary protected status, assuming you qualified for TPS. Donald Trump revoked TPS. He's building concentration camps in the Everglades, although the way it was built in the swamp area, it's already flooded and kind of non-functional at this point. But let's take a look at what the Venezuelan community, how they're responding to what's taking place. Let me show you.
This Venezuelan business owner said the political instability has led to a 20% drop in revenue.
It's affected your clients as well as the people who work here.
Here in Florida, Trump won almost 70% of the Cuban American vote in 2024, along with 61% of Doral, home to the largest Venezuelan American population in the U.S.
They used us.
Adelis Ferro is the co-founder and executive director of the Venezuelan American Caucus.
How is the Venezuelan community feeling right now, especially in the context of these deportations?
Desperate, terrified. There are people with mental health issues. There are people with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. They rather to die than go back to Venezuela, and then
people
have to stop.
People are talking about taking their lives.
I have those messages.
The ripple effects affecting families and businesses.
A lot of people have already invested in businesses here, and they've stopped because they just don't know what the future brings.
Still, experts say the current turmoil may not hurt the Republican Party.
Now, pivoting away from the Trump supporters, who are having their lives impacted, and showing you things very close to my home here in California where I live. These are neighborhoods that are very, very close to me. And so this has a profoundly very personal impact, although all these stories feel deeply personal to me. As you may know, my wife is first generation American. Her family's from Guadalajara. And her family, I'm not going to say the specific city where they're from, but they live in these areas where this is taking place, and they have the ICE going on their streets on a daily basis and attacking people in their neighborhood. Here's what went down at El Rancho Unified School District in Pico Rivera, California. It's near Los Angeles. And here, the ICE agents, they go to a school and they start urinating on the school. It's horrific stuff. You're not going to see them urinate, but I'll show you the story of what went down here. You need to watch this. Here, play this clip.
Agents were seen trespassing on school grounds. Surveillance video from the morning of June 17th shows 8 to 10 marked and unmarked vehicles entering the back parking lot of Ruben Salazar High School in Pico Rivera, allegedly without permission.
At no time was a legal or legitimate reason offered or provided as to why ICE agents entered and remained on the school grounds, nor did they provide any judicial warrants.
They say what's most disturbing is that some of the agents were caught in the act, urinating on campus right next to a playground. Video appears to show uniformed agents taking turns to relieve themselves near a storage container around 9 in the morning.
These actions by DHS and ICE agents raise alarming and pressing questions regarding ICE's behavior and judgment, as well as the concerns about the rights and well-being of those involved.
District officials have sent this letter to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons demanding an investigation. While the high school was not in session, preschool students at the nearby elementary could have bared witness to the distasteful sight.
Any reasonable person of any profession entering Salazar where the ICE agents were urinating would clearly recognize the surroundings to be those of a school where minors are taught.
The agents left once asked by school officials. It's unclear why they were there in the first place, but it could have served as a staging area. That same day, a raid took place at a nearby shopping center, where a now former Walmart employee, Adrian Martinez, is seen intervening to stop an undocumented janitor from being arrested. The confrontation led to the arrest of the 20-year-old U.S. citizen.
Now here you'll see some of these ICE bounty hunters refusing to identify themselves. They won't even say where they're taking the people they're kidnapping. Hat tip to Christopher Webb for pointing out this clip. You'll see they're deliberately shuffling detainees from one facility to another so families can't find them, and so they miss their chance at legal counsel. This is at Anaheim, California. Let's play it.
Start moving back. Start moving back, please.
Where are they going?
They're being. What's that?
Where are they being detained?
Get out! Get out! Property, bro. And everybody step back, please.
Fuck that. Where the fuck are you taking them? Where are you taking them? Where are you guys taking them?
Your father was a white back motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. That's my private property. You're not American. Get the fuck out. Get out of here. You're not American. Get out. Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you. You're not American.
Hey, where are you guys taking them? Where do we go? Where are we taking them? Where are you guys taking them? Where are you guys taking them?
Watch out.
Where are you guys taking them? Where are you guys taking them? What fucking facility, dumbass?
What facility? What detention center? Detention center.
What fucking detention center?
What protection center? Where's that? Just give me the address. Oh, shame on your families. Shame on all of you.
Now here's a story that just boggles the mind. You will see a MAGA mom detained by ICE, but the husband remains a Trump supporter and he refuses to stop flying the Trump flag. And you'll see he says, there must be a good reason why my wife was taken away. Watch for yourself what he says in the video. Words to that effect. Let's play it.
An Iranian woman detained by federal agents. She and her family, all supporters of President Trump. See the MAGA hats. President Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live for us in Diamond Bar And Matthew, those Trump flags staying up tonight.
Yeah, those flags staying up. This family still supports Donald Trump despite their mom being detained. The final moments home for an Iranian woman detained by immigration agents.
Thank you.
A mother Monday going inside to say bye to her 4 kids.
She came and kissed the kids and that was it. That's the last time I saw her.
A proud President Trump supporting family in Diamond Bar.
Election time was there. I had a full 3-4 flags out.
Even while their mom faces immigration questions. Has your opinion changed on this?
That's a good question. Somewhat it has. Just because I'm going through it. I was very selfish before. But what I see right now is, okay, there's a reason for it.
Arthur Sahakian's wife, Arpaneh, was born in Iran and moved to the United States when she was 3 as a refugee.
She cashed a check, I believe it was less than $200, and this is all where it started.
Then, about 15 years ago, her green card was revoked over a conviction related to theft.
It's all misdemeanor stuff.
Arthur says they've been going through the legal process towards regaining citizenship with check-ins every 6 months or so.
She just went in April, and they said, okay, you're fine, have a good day, we'll see you back in September or October.
Now here we have an ICE arrest in Pasadena of a mother without a warrant, and it turns out that they've abducted the wrong person. Hat tip to long time, first time for their description of what went down. Only 2 of the 3 agents had a badge. None were in uniform. Quote, "I didn't know if I was witnessing a hate crime or a kidnapping," said a witness. Video cuts off just as the daughter begs, "Call the police." And because they might have been law enforcement, I wasn't even sure whether to call the police. Jillian Reed did end up calling 911, reporting what she thought was a possible kidnapping. Rosalina Luna Vargas was eventually taken into custody despite her 2 children's best efforts. After inflicting all of that trauma, ICE later admits that they arrested the wrong person by mistake in the first place, told the family they had just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Watch this.
You have a warrant. You don't have a warrant. Where is it? Where is it? No, you don't. No, you don't. Show me. Show me right now. Where's the warrant at? No. Show me the warrant right now. We're not gonna let her go. Yo, get your hands on my mom. No, where's the warrant? No. Please. No, where's the warrant? Show me first. Where's the warrant? Show me first. No. Come on, can you call this? We have a right. We have a fucking right.
And this right here is a horrific story of a Virginia man who is sedated with drugs, he claims, loaded into an unmarked vehicle, and driven to an ICE facility and deported days later. The alleged bondsman rang the doorbell and asked misleading questions about their mother, and then forced the door open at gunpoint. They allege this was going on in Virginia. Let's watch this.
Their relative has been deported after a man in plain clothes knocked on their door late at night to make an immigration arrest. The family said the man didn't identify himself and at one point pulled out a gun. The Arlington County Board Chair is calling for an investigation now into what happened. Our Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder has our story.
An Arlington County family was about to go to sleep the night of June 11th when, all of a sudden, home security camera video shows a man at their neighbor's front door. Then he came to their door.
It's 11:30 at night. What do you need? And he's like, just open the door. Like, I cannot hear you. Just open it.
Sandra and her youngest son, Joseph, asked us not to show their faces for this story. Sandra was in bed that night with her partner, Orlando. Joseph and his brother were getting ready for bed when the stranger knocked on their door. The boys called the police.
There's an unknown male knocking on the door, asking for the caller's mom. They're not expecting anyone.
Another angle of the security camera video shows Arlington County police arriving at the family's home. Joseph says his brother went outside to talk with police and noticed the stranger was also talking with police. Joseph says when his brother came back inside, that's when the stranger made his move.
Our door was closed, and he forced his way in very aggressively. When he came in, I was standing, and he shoved me out of his way, and I was screaming for help, and he pointed his gun at me. He had his gun pointed at my head the entire time. And the police were right behind him, and I was screaming for help, like, please help. In that moment, I thought, seriously, he was going to kill me.
This moment in the security camera video shows what appears to be that moment. Inaudible shouting and police rushing in. In the audio, we can hear someone say,
"Then he ran over here with his gun out."
Sandra and Orlando were still inside of their bedroom, but Sandra says the man broke the bedroom door on his way in to find them.
Once he went in the room, he threw me on the bed, and then he threw Orlando on the bed and asked for ID.
Video then shows what appears to be the stranger escorting Orlando out of the home in handcuffs.
He never gave any kind of identification, no name, no nothing, no warrant, absolutely nothing. Having the police there, I would have expected some kind of help, but...
Then they learned who this stranger was. You might be assuming he was an ICE agent, but the family says no. They learned he's a bondsman. Family members say the bondsman showed them this document titled Notice to Obligor to Deliver Alien after he made the arrest. The header at the top of the document reads Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I felt hopeless.
The family says Orlando had been in the U.S. for 20 years working as a general contractor. After his arrest, the family says Orlando would later tell them that the bondsman drove him around in his car for hours, presumably waiting for the ICE office in Chantilly to open up. The family says Orlando was only held at Chantilly briefly. Then he was moved to Farmville. Then he was moved again.
Night, he called me. He said, I'm on my way to Louisiana. And I asked him, why Louisiana? He said, that's where they're taking me.
Shortly after arriving in Louisiana, the family says Orlando was deported to Honduras. That was before the family could ever make contact with the...
Horrible stuff. And I want to just give a shout out also to all the local reporting there. They need a good hat tip for the great work that they're doing. Local reporting, I think, is really stepping up. And if we're able to highlight the great work of local reporters here on the MeidasTouch Network, I'm really happy to do that. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.meidastouch.com.